The legendary Prince of Darkness, the indomitable frontman of Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, has passed away forever at the age of 76. Heartbreaking news, but what truly shook the entire artistic community and international media came next. Just hours after the news of Ozzy's passing was confirmed, Sharon Osbourne, the woman who stood by him through over half a century of storms, who bravely battled every tempest of life alongside him, unexpectedly appeared and uttered a statement that left both the artistic community and the media stunned. "I feel relieved that Ozzy is dead." That statement resonated as a global shock, carrying a truth too raw, too different from what the public had ever thought about the death of an icon. For decades, Sharon had been the gatekeeper, controlling every piece of information, every image, every most private aspect surrounding Ozzy. Now, at 72, she finally broke her long silence, unveiling a secret known to no one but her, a truth about her beloved husband's death that was not a sudden tragedy, but an event prepared, meticulously, tightly, and incredibly privately orchestrated. So how did Ozzy Osbourne's death truly unfold? Was it a sudden passing or a meticulously planned event prepared months in advance, under Sharon's tight management? What pushed this seemingly immortal marriage to the brink of collapse? And after all, to whom was the rock king's enormous legacy bequeathed, and how? We will delve into every corner of this story, uncovering untold secrets, heartbreaking moments, and bold decisions that shaped a legend's final chapter. Let's turn each page of the record of a tumultuous life and a death under absolute control, beyond all public imagination. According to official reports, Ozzy Osbourne's death was not a random event, but the result of severe respiratory failure due to complications of end-stage Parkinson's disease. This was a cruel illness he had been diagnosed with, specifically the PARK2 gene, a hereditary form of Parkinson's. This disease slowly stripped away his spirit, his voice, and his autonomy, transforming him from an energetic stage icon into a frail man struggling daily with his own body. Ozzy breathed his last at his familiar home in Buckinghamshire in the early morning of July 22nd. Notably, this entire passing took place under strict medical control, with the full presence of his closest family members and a special care team that Sharon had arranged long in advance. Even in the final moments, not a single detail was overlooked. Not a single moment was out of control. It seemed as if everything followed a pre-written script. One of Ozzy's deepest desires was not to die in a hospital, in isolation and unconsciousness. He yearned to pass away in his own home, surrounded by loved ones in full control and awareness. And Sharon, the devoted but also powerful wife, made that wish a reality. She once clearly stated, "Ozzy didn't want to be in the hospital any longer. He no longer had control over his body, but his will was very clear." This was not a snap decision, but the result of a plan prepared months in advance. Internal family meetings began in early July, focusing on coordinating medical staff, establishing a comprehensive care system, and preparing all post-mortem procedures as discreetly as possible. Sharon refused all media assistance, not allowing press or international news agencies access for 72 hours before the official announcement was made. All information was kept strictly confidential, only disseminated through the Osbourne family's legal representatives, ensuring maximum privacy for this sacred moment of farewell. 3 days before Ozzy's passing, a final video call was held between him and his 3 children, Amy, Kelly, and Jack. Although Ozzy had completely lost the ability to speak due to the cruel disease plaguing him, he still tried to communicate through his eyes and minimal facial expressions. Jack Osbourne confirmed in a family statement, "We understood what Dad was trying to say. There was nothing surprising or ambiguous about that moment. Everyone understood the meaning of goodbye." It was a deeply moving moment, a farewell that needed no words, only boundless understanding and love between father and children. In those final hours, only one person was allowed to be alone with Ozzy, Sharon Osbourne herself. In a personal letter that Sharon officially released in the press statement, she affirmed, "He and I kept our old promise. There was no machine intervention, no transfer. Nothing was done against Ozzy's wishes." The letter did not specify when this decision was made, but it confirmed that the agreement had been made very early and maintained consistently until the very last moment. He passed away fully conscious of his circumstances, a rare tranquility after many years of battling illness. After Ozzy's death, instead of grieving or breaking down as the public expected, Sharon shocked the world with her confession. "I feel relieved that Ozzy is dead." This was a truly shocking revelation, a naked truth few dared to speak. Sharon explained that she had reached her absolute limit after many years of caring for Ozzy through the cruel torment of Parkinson's disease. She had longed for his passing, just to be liberated from the invisible burden she had carried throughout those years. She recounted the long nights spent awake by his bedside, the moments Ozzy was delirious, struggling, and even the times she had to perform artificial respiration herself, or even handle heavy personal care tasks like bathing, treating sores, or adjusting his breathing tube. An acquaintance revealed a haunting detail to Sharon: the time Ozzy convulsed so violently that he hit his head on the bed frame and lost consciousness for 17 minutes. Without a second's hesitation, according to the account, Sharon personally performed chest compressions, held his jaw, and gave him artificial respiration. "I just kept screaming his name, and I thought if he died right now, I would die with him," she said. In Ozzy's final years, Sharon was no longer a media mogul or a sharp producer. She became a shadow in her own home, a tireless care machine. "I had forgotten who I was. I lived only to keep someone else alive," she admitted with extreme fatigue. And amidst that exhaustion, Sharon even confessed another shocking truth. She had had an affair. She explained that it wasn't because she stopped loving him, but because she had become a machine, a mindless caretaker, and she needed someone to remind her that she was still alive, still a woman. I cried, but then I felt relieved. The burden lifted from my shoulders not because I didn't love him, but because I had loved him with all I had. There was nothing left to hold on to, Sharon shared. For her, Ozzy's death was the final movement of a symphony that had lasted too long. Now she was a survivor, and finally she was allowed to breathe with her own lungs, not through machines or dependence on others. "I think about Ozzy every day, but for the first time in a long time, I also think about myself," she said with a nearly imperceptible smile, a light smile that contained a lifetime of burden just released. After Ozzy's passing, his body was kept in a private room for 12 hours before being moved to the prearranged burial site. This entire process was carried out by a private funeral service that Sharon had long-term contracted, ensuring absolute confidentiality. No media, artists, or business partners were allowed access during this time. All activities took place within the family. Ozzy's funeral was held discreetly, with only family and a few close staff allowed to attend. It was not broadcast live, there were no press photos, and the program was not made public. Everything was personally compiled by Sharon. A unique and meaningful detail was that the entire funeral music consisted of Ozzy's unreleased recordings, including a remix of "See You on the Other Side" that he himself had requested in 2023. This was a final message he sent to the world. No lament, no regret, just a promise to meet again on the other side. When the coffin was lowered, Sharon placed a miniature microphone on it, a final symbol of a life dedicated to music and the stage. Ozzy was buried on the Osbourne family's private estate, a place he once called "the only place I want to rest," a peaceful and complete passing as he had always wished. If you also feel sorry for the passing of the legendary Ozzy Osbourne, please comment RIP below as a farewell and share the pain with his family. The relationship between Ozzy and Sharon went through a serious crisis when Ozzy was discovered to be unfaithful, especially a 4-year affair with a hairdresser. Sharon called it the breaking of trust and had to be hospitalized for an overdose, admitting, "I didn't want to die, I just didn't know how to keep living." Ozzy later voluntarily entered a specialized treatment facility to reevaluate his behavioral control and reestablish boundaries in personal relationships, even confessing to relationship addiction. Their reconciliation process did not happen publicly, and the relationship was rebuilt based on a consensual control mechanism and strict legal agreements, no longer relying on temporary emotions. Sharon demanded Ozzy restrict all personal interactions outside the marriage, including financial oversight, media, and public appearances. She stated that nothing was spontaneous. Everything was considered, confirmed, and approved. They maintained the relationship by re-establishing the system, not based on temporary emotions. Their 3 children, especially Kelly and Jack, played important roles in reorganizing family life, proposing to reduce the media workload and medical support for their parents. After the crisis was resolved, Sharon Osbourne continued her role as Ozzy's direct manager, gaining full control over financial and medical decisions. This relationship was maintained by re-establishing the system, not based on temporary emotions. A testament to Sharon's absolute control in every aspect of her husband's life. It is said that Sharon Osbourne was not merely a wife, but also the principal architect of Ozzy's entire career and life, transforming their relationship into a highly disciplined organizational system. Since Ozzy left Black Sabbath, rumors erupted that Sharon was responsible for redirecting his entire solo career. She had sole authority over all matters of recording, distribution, media, licensing, marketing, and post-production supervision. She even used Ozzy's controversial behaviors, such as mental instability or erratic conduct, to attract media attention and shape his unique image in the music market. The financial system was also restructured into 3 independent legal entities controlled by Sharon, including a touring management company, a music publishing company, and a personal image company. This ensured tightly monitored cash flow and that all expenses were based on a fixed annual budget model, calculated using quantitative criteria and professional health forecasts. Contingency funds for health and legal risks were also periodically supplemented, ensuring business continuity even during periods of performance interruption. Within the family, Sharon was the overall planner for the children's activities, education, and information security. All public family-related activities were pre-planned through an independent legal department to protect privacy and control consistency in communication. Sharon's comprehensive role as both wife and manager made her inextricably linked to every stage of Ozzy's career. She had the final say in all musical choices, performing partners, brand affiliations, and collaborative projects. Many long-term contracts even bore her name as co-owner or legal representative. Franchising agreements related to Ozzy's image, including reality TV shows and music events, all required Sharon's direct approval. In addition to business benefits, Sharon was also responsible for overseeing all of Ozzy's medical records and treatment processes from the early stages of his solo career. Prescriptions, medical schedules, and insurance were all organized into a unified system under her management, ensuring continuity of care and timely handling of unexpected situations. Ozzy's operational model, unlike most artists who rely on inspiration and personal privilege, was based on a personalized organization with strict internal scale and control. Sharon built this structure from human resources and asset management to media strategy and backstage operations, helping Ozzy maintain a continuous image in the market without interruption by personal events. This absolutely controlled coordination mechanism transformed the relationship between the two beyond the framework of a normal marriage, becoming a highly disciplined organizational system, where artistic rebellion was placed within tight operational limits with unified strategies, scripts, and coordination mechanisms. When motor disorder signs appeared and progressed to the point where Ozzy lost central nervous system control, his medical records were immediately transferred to special monitoring status. A comprehensive disease monitoring system was established at home, coordinating 3 main functional groups: neurological support, motor rehabilitation, and symptom treatment. Sharon directly contracted private medical units, requiring rotational professional staff based on an on-site care model. Throughout his illness, Ozzy was forced to cease all public appearances. Short-term appearances, if permitted, only occurred when 3 strict criteria were met: the ability to sit still, a stable voice, and minimal facial expression control. These criteria were not to maintain a public image, but to ensure safety in contact and responsiveness to external impacts. All events took place discreetly with a medical team on standby and written reports after each movement. Nutrition and outpatient management were also organized as an independent administrative model. Sharon delegated coordination responsibility to a personal medical advisory board, operating on a discrete schedule with weekly cross-checks and progress evaluations. Reporting systems were encrypted and internally stored, circulated only within minimal legal limits as required. Monitoring of central nervous system and respiratory function was considered the most critical factor at this stage due to the risk of rapid and irreversible decline. The decision to move Ozzy to Switzerland was made after completing legal procedures related to unlimited treatment at a specialized facility. Sharon required his treatment plan to be completely separated from the national health system to ensure full autonomy in end-of-life decisions. Documents related to this were established in the form of an advanced medical power of attorney, allowing the authorized person to make independent medical decisions without the consent of the public health system. This was one of the final steps in implementing a proactive mechanism for the worst-case scenario. When neurological degeneration reached the point of incapacitation, physical therapy support shifted to maintenance mode, no longer using rehabilitative exercises. End-stage interventions were used to limit pain, stabilize peripheral nerves, and control muscle rigidity. Nevertheless, Ozzy remained conscious throughout the process, and his vital signs were maintained at a level sufficient for him to sign administrative documents related to his assets and will. This system continued to operate until death was confirmed. All of Ozzy's medical records, prescriptions, treatment plans, progress indicators, and final professional conclusions were encrypted, securely stored, and transferred to legal representatives according to a post-audit process. Sharon Osbourne concluded her medical management role after signing a closing document, confirming that all responsibilities under the power of attorney had been fulfilled. This process ended the entire end-of-life management phase for Ozzy, concluding a continuous chain of operations spanning many years under an organizational model established and fully controlled by Sharon. Ozzy's funeral legal documents were completed internally and not transferred to the public system, except for the death notification as required. The handling of personal assets, intellectual property, and artistic legacy was carried out under Sharon's direct supervision as the fully authorized agent. There were no disputes in determining inheritance rights or final exploitation rights. Asset transfer terms were finalized before his passing with the participation of personal legal counsel, representatives of the 3 children, and the copyright archiving unit. Ownership of unreleased recordings and unreleased projects was assigned to Sharon Osbourne under a reservation mechanism. This artistic legacy includes many musical works never commercialized, as well as exclusive recordings used only for family purposes or private ceremonies. Ownership remained until further direction from the legal manager. Notably, Sharon Osbourne outright rejected all proposals to establish an organization named Ozzy, such as a fund or memorial institute. The reason was clearly stated in writing: to maintain full control over content, image, and final commercial direction. Any future form of tribute, if any, would only be carried out symbolically or integrated into independent projects, not under a third-party legal structure. This decision was unanimously agreed upon by the entire family to protect full control over elements related to Ozzy's personal reputation. In the administrative will system, Ozzy established a clear asset distribution structure. Sharon held full administrative decision-making power. Kelly Osbourne held media consulting rights, Jack Osbourne was tasked with supervising digital assets, and Amy Osbourne received non-commercial music files. The division of power was not based on equal distribution, but on specific functions and corresponding operational experience of each individual. All rights were exercised under internal supervision and cross-checks within the family, not delegated to third parties. In addition to physical assets and intellectual property, Ozzy's personal records were also transferred according to a confidential process. This included diaries, correspondence, legal documents, unpublished manuscripts, and all data related to his personal activities before and after end-of-life care. This data set was handled separately from commercial assets and was not publicly used without Sharon Osbourne's written consent. Another notable clause was the perimeter lock clause. all commercialization rights to Ozzy's image, music, or name were forbidden from being transferred to third parties, unless directly approved by Sharon or his children. This was a strategic move to protect Ozzy's reputation from financial pursuit after his death, ensuring his legacy would not be misused. Administratively, Sharon Osbourne terminated her managerial role after fulfilling obligations related to assets, will, and post-mortem information. She refused to continue any commercial projects related to the Ozzy Osbourne brand and relinquished the right to negotiate future contracts, marking a clear end to her role in the Ozzy empire. This decision was not widely publicized in the media, but circulated internally like a silent farewell, heavy with responsibility and love. Ozzy Osbourne's long and passionate journey ended not with a rebellious shout, but with the firm nod of a man who faced death and said, "I am ready." What remains is not just music, but also how a person lived and died on their own terms, proactively, disciplined, and with absolute respect for personal choice. And behind that legendary rock icon was an extraordinary woman, Sharon Osbourne. Not just a wife, but a living torch guiding Ozzy in his final years. She was not just a life partner, but a strong fortress between Ozzy and the darkness, the one who designed his final departure from the room where he breathed his last to the final song played at the funeral. His music still resonates, but perhaps his most powerful legacy is the way he faced the end, as if he had personally written the final chapter of his life in black ink and guitar strings. Because YouTube will prioritize interactive videos, please comment "OK" if you find this video interesting. Thank you. 3 days after her father's death, Ozzy Osbourne's daughter, Kelly Osbourne, broke her silence. "That's how I feel right now," she shared, expressing her heartbreak via her personal Instagram account. Kelly shared an opening lyric from Black Sabbath's song, Changes. "I feel unhappy. I'm so sad. I've lost the best friend I ever had." This lyric was not only fitting after Ozzy's passing, but also deeply personal to Kelly because in 2003, she and her father touchingly sang this song as a duet. She revealed that when singing with her father, they often became emotional and cried, unable to finish the song. Kelly was always one of the few who was never intimidated by Ozzy, and their relationship was unshakable. They were not just family, they were best friends in every sense of the word. Kelly, in particular, was always by her father's side during his most difficult final days. 2 days before he passed away, Kelly posted a video capturing a peaceful morning moment with her son and Ozzy, in which Ozzy looked healthy, happy, and profoundly content. This video now serves as a cherished final memory of him. Kelly gave him one of the most sincere gifts a daughter could give right before he passed. At Ozzy's farewell concert in Birmingham, Back to the Beginning, Kelly accepted her longtime partner's marriage proposal. Ozzy was overjoyed to witness his daughter's engagement, which meant the world to him. Tragically, he did not live long enough to walk his daughter down the aisle. Ozzy Osbourne once admitted he wasn't always a good father, especially during his years of addiction when he was away from his family for long periods. But once he successfully overcame his addiction, he made efforts to mend those relationships, and he succeeded. He became a loving grandfather and built deep relationships with both Jack and Kelly and their children. That's why Kelly's pain was so immense. She not only lost a father, but also her best friend, mentor, and the man her son adored as his grandfather. Ozzy Osbourne, the godfather of heavy metal and prince of darkness, passed away at 76. He leaves behind his wife and manager Sharon, 6 children, and many grandchildren. As his health began to decline and he could no longer perform music, Ozzy Osbourne's greatest wish was to leave America and retire to his mansion in England. However, due to surgeries in the US, this wish was delayed. He expressed a desire to live the rest of his life at home, surrounded by his wife and grandchildren. A few months before his death, he finally moved back to England, and his life there seemed peaceful and fulfilling. He was surrounded by love, not only from his wife, dogs, cats, and children, but especially tenderly from his grandchildren. Although known as a tough rocker, his grandchildren brought out a soft and sweet side in him. This is evident in some clips recently shared by his daughter Kelly Osbourne and former daughter-in-law Lisa Stelly. Being at home gave Ozzy the opportunity to spend real quality time with his grandchildren, and build strong relationships with them, something he hadn't been able to do with most of his biological children due to constant touring. It could be said that he was able to give the love he couldn't give his children to his grandchildren. The heartwarming clips and photos show him peacefully at home, laughing and bonding with the children. Just months before his death, he stated in an interview that he didn't want to suffer from illness for a long time or die a slow death. He said he would rather pass away suddenly, and if that's what he expressed just days before his death, then perhaps he achieved his wish. A peaceful and sudden passing. He may not have been a perfect husband or father, but Ozzy was a loving grandfather. And although he wasn't with his grandchildren for a long time, they will grow up with cherished memories of the short but meaningful time they spent with him. Ozzy Osbourne was only 19 when he began his career as the frontman of Black Sabbath, and later achieved tremendous success as a solo artist. Late in life, he revived his career with the reality TV show The Osbournes. Just weeks before his death, Ozzy had his farewell performance. He didn't sing all the songs on that tour, but performed quite well given his health, as he couldn't truly walk and performed from a custom-designed throne. It was wonderful and deeply moving to witness how much people respected and loved him, along with his former band members, later band members, and bands he influenced, all in his hometown. This was especially notable because such tributes usually only happen after a person has passed away. Someone once recounted a story of interviewing Ozzy Osbourne. At the time, the storyteller was a young music journalist, and the interview took place at 11 a.m. Ozzy had clearly just woken up and was wearing only a pale blue striped bathrobe, adorned with many diamond rings, a Rolex, bracelets, and necklaces. The person also noticed Ozzy had a simple smiley face tattoo on one knee and a sad face tattoo on the other. When asked by his manager if he needed anything, Ozzy famously replied, "A new brine," meaning a new brain, because he was too drunk. Ozzy was very open about his struggles and complex past. However, many who weren't hardcore Black Sabbath fans witnessed his deep love for his family through the reality TV show The Osbournes, which showed both sides of his personality. This show humanized him, revealing his true self, or at least his true self at that stage of his life, making him strangely endearing. This endearing quality remained with him even as the band's fame continued and their legend grew. Musically, Ozzy as a singer wasn't about hitting super high notes, but about the emotion that went into his voice, the menace, the fear, the terrifying nature he could convey, which was astonishing. His music is expected to endure for a very long time. Someone once said that Joan Rivers' smile could light up a room. As a comedy icon and famous television host, Joan was always sharp, witty, and unafraid to confront anyone. Her radiant smile and blunt style captivated millions of viewers. However, Joan also candidly admitted her obsession with plastic surgery, a journey she claimed involved over 700 procedures, from facelifts and nose jobs to Botox injections. These excessive interventions gradually erased her natural features. Her overly taut facial skin, unevenly plumped lips, and eyes narrowed from multiple facelifts made her look more like a plastic doll than herself. Aesthetic experts agreed that Joan had exceeded safe limits, turning her face into an artificial creation, often the subject of public discussion. Repeated surgeries under general anesthesia also led to serious health complications. Facing countless criticisms, Joan Rivers remained resilient until the very end. She continued her brilliant career performing and working tirelessly until her passing in 2014, sadly due to complications from a routine throat surgery. Joan's story is a poignant warning about the pressure to maintain beauty in Hollywood, a pressure that can drive people to abuse cosmetic procedures. At the same time, it is also a testament to the indomitable spirit of a woman who is not afraid to face public opinion and live her passion to the fullest. LaToya Jackson, singer, songwriter, actress, and famous television personality, is a member of the legendary Jackson family. She possessed a soft, natural beauty and a graceful demeanor. However, her plastic surgery journey began in the late 80s with a nose job, believed to be inspired by her famous brother Michael Jackson. Unfortunately, this quickly led to a series of procedures that altered her face, beyond recognition. From facelifts to cheek implants, chin lifts, and eyelid surgery, LaToya's face became sharper, stiffer, and at times, strange. Her nose became unnaturally narrow and asymmetrical, her lips suspiciously plumped, giving her a smile reminiscent of the Joker from fictional stories. These drastic changes shocked fans who loved her natural beauty. The surgeries not only erased her inherent softness but also contributed to intense public scrutiny, leaving her to face countless negative comments. Though she never fully confirmed the extent of her surgeries, LaToya's altered appearance became a cautionary tale about the price of pursuing an often unattainable beauty ideal, and how it can mercilessly destroy natural beauty. Priscilla Presley, ex-wife of the king of rock and roll Elvis Presley, once possessed a timeless beauty, full of charm and grace, famous for her roles in works like The Naked Gun and Dallas. Her elegant, natural appearance was the envy of many, until a misguided decision in 2003 turned that beauty into a tragedy. Priscilla became the victim of an unlicensed doctor who injected industrial silicone, a car lubricant, into her face. The consequences were horrific. Her face developed unusual lumps and swelling, especially in the cheek area, disrupting all natural balance. Additionally, the overuse of Botox and laser therapies left her skin unnaturally shiny, erasing its inherent softness. Priscilla's appearance changed terrifyingly, leading the public and media to liken her face to a frightening mask, causing immense psychological pressure. Despite undergoing many corrective surgeries, the damage seemed to never fully heal. However, despite the physical and emotional scars, Priscilla demonstrated remarkable resilience. She continued to build a successful business career and returned to red carpet events in 2022, full of confidence. She publicly shared her painful experience, becoming a voice advocating for safer aesthetic practices and a testament to an indomitable spirit that refused to let any misfortune define her life. Let us know where you're watching from in the comments, and be sure to stay until the very end, because the transformations and stories of these celebrities are more shocking than you could possibly imagine. Linda Evangelista was once one of the most iconic supermodels of the 90s, dubbed the chameleon of the fashion industry, thanks to her endless transformative abilities and sharp beauty that helped her dominate over 700 magazine covers. She was the embodiment of glamour and success, a face the world admired. But then, in 2016, a seemingly harmless decision forever changed her life and career. Linda underwent the non-invasive fat-freezing procedure Cool Sculpting, a method advertised as safe and effective for removing excess fat. However, she suffered a rare and horrific complication: paradoxical adipose hyperplasia, PAH. Instead of eliminating fat, PAH caused the fat cells in the treated areas to enlarge and harden, forming painful lumps that left her body permanently disfigured and made her feel unrecognizable in the mirror. From a supermodel constantly in the spotlight, Linda abruptly withdrew from all activities, falling into a spiral of insecurity and deep depression. Her brilliant career was painfully interrupted, and the fashion world seemed to lose an icon. But facing this brutal challenge, Linda Evangelista demonstrated extraordinary inner strength. In 2021, she publicly shared her story, bringing a lawsuit against Cool Sculpting to light and seeking $50 million in compensation. After the lawsuit was settled in 2022, Linda gradually regained her confidence, returning to the runway and appearing proudly on the cover of Vogue. Though the mental scars may still remain, Linda has learned to love herself and not let the pain define her life. Her journey is not only a testament to resilience, but also a powerful warning about the risks of aesthetic procedures, even those advertised as the safest. She reminds us that true beauty comes from self-acceptance and an indomitable spirit. Jennifer Grey, the star of the classic film Dirty Dancing, once captivated audiences with her natural beauty and distinctive nose, a feature that helped define her memorable role as Baby. Jennifer's rustic, approachable yet captivating beauty charmed millions of hearts. But in the early 1990s, she decided to get a nose job in hopes of achieving a more perfect Hollywood look, a decision she would regret for the rest of her life. After 2 nose surgeries, Jennifer was almost unrecognizable. Her new nose, smaller and sharper, made her lose the distinctive feature that had made her famous, losing the uniqueness that made her Baby from Dirty Dancing. The consequences were harsh. She felt like a different person when looking in the mirror, and this severely affected her career because directors no longer recognized her, no longer saw the familiar Jennifer Grey. The impact of the surgery was not just on her appearance, but also deeply affected Jennifer's psychology and self-confidence. She admitted deep regret about this decision, calling it the biggest mistake of my life. Currently at 65, Jennifer Grey has regained balance and confidence, appearing in new projects and openly sharing her experiences. She no longer chases the pressure to be perfect, but focuses on self-acceptance. Jennifer's story is a valuable lesson about plastic surgery. Sometimes what makes us unique and lovable is exactly what society or we ourselves want to change, and that can be a fatal mistake. Lisa Rinna, once a beautiful star of Days of Our Lives in Melrose Place, possessed a sharp and captivating beauty, a familiar face on the small screen. When she was young, Rinna chose to inject permanent silicone filler into her lips, a bold decision that made her lips her personal brand. However, over time, the filler hardened, making her lips uneven and losing their natural softness. It wasn't until 25 years later that she decided to undergo corrective surgery, but unfortunately the damage was largely irreversible. Additionally, Lisa also had Botox, fillers, and breast augmentation. Fans and the public often commented that she looked overdone and unrecognizable compared to her former self. Critics continually labeled her a cautionary tale of surgical abuse. Despite facing countless negative reactions, Lisa Rinna claimed no regrets about her choices. She embraced the imperfections and turned her distinctive lips into a highlight for her own beauty brand. Although in 2024 she admitted some fillers were not good and had partly dissolved them, the question of whether she is truly at peace looking in the mirror remains open. Lisa Rinna's story is a complex testament to self-acceptance, to the line between the freedom to change and obsession between individuality and disfigurement. Do you think Lisa Rinna made the right choice by embracing her bold look despite the risks? Yes or no? Tell us why in the comments. Do you admire her confidence, or do you think it crossed the line? Joan Van Ark, the American actress famous for her role as Valene Ewing in the hit series Dallas, was once praised for her radiant beauty and strong screen presence. She was an elegant lady, possessing natural, regal beauty. However, in pursuit of perfection and the desire to maintain eternal youth, Joan underwent her first nose job in 1991. This was followed by a series of interventions such as eyelid lifts, facelifts, Botox injections, and chemical peels. By the 2000s, her skin became pale, unnaturally taut, and her eyes sunken, deeply shocking fans and completely erasing the natural elegance that had made her famous. The consequences were heartbreaking. Her face at the Knots Landing 40th anniversary event was described as melting, completely unlike the vibrant actress of decades past. That face became a sad reminder of the price of pursuing illusory perfection. Joan chose to remain silent about her aesthetic choices, but the results were undeniable and caused division among the public. Her story is a chilling warning from Hollywood about the pursuit of eternal youth at all costs, a race that not everyone can win perfectly. Brigitte Nielsen, the Danish actress famous for her roles in Red Sonja and Rocky IV, was once admired for her tall, striking beauty and natural charm. She was a sex symbol with a confident demeanor. However, as she entered her 40s, the pressure to maintain youth in Hollywood pushed Brigitte into a series of plastic surgeries, which many believe made her unrecognizable. At 44, Brigitte appeared in a reality TV show From Old to New, documenting her extreme transformation through numerous aesthetic procedures, including facelifts, eyelid surgery, Botox injections, lip fillers, and liposuction. The facelift caused her skin to become unnaturally taut, creating an overly operated appearance, while the eyelid surgery altered her once very expressive eyes, making them look narrow and less natural. What began as an effort to reverse time ultimately erased the natural beauty that once defined her. Although Brigitte claims to be satisfied with her appearance at 61 and does not hesitate to share her decision, admitting that plastic surgery was an important part of maintaining her desired look, her story remains a cautionary tale about the unpredictable consequences of pursuing perfection through cosmetic procedures. Mickey Rourke was once a promising rising star in Hollywood, with an angular and captivating face. However, after transitioning to a boxing career in the 1990s, Rourke suffered severe facial injuries, forcing him to undergo 5 nose surgeries and multiple cheekbone reconstruction procedures. Unfortunately, the results were not as he desired. The sharp features that once made him famous now appeared swollen and rounder, with full but unbalanced cheekbones. The abuse of Botox and dermal fillers further made his appearance artificial, with his forehead and lips looking shiny and unnatural. Mickey Rourke admitted to choosing the wrong doctor for some of these procedures, leading to transformations that many found hard to accept. Despite facing much controversy over his new appearance, Rourke's acting talent remained unchanged. His role in the film The Wrestler proved that Rourke's passion for acting was as strong as ever, showing that even though his appearance was completely altered, his skills still shone. To this day, Rourke is still preparing for more plastic surgeries, indicating that his battle with self-image is not yet over. On a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you think plastic surgery affected Mickey Rourke's appearance and career? 1 equals minimal change, 5 equals completely unrecognizable. Drop your number in the comments and let us know if you think his talent still outshines the transformation. Sharon Stone is a true Hollywood sex symbol, globally renowned for her captivating role in Basic Instinct. She was praised as one of the leading beauties of her time, possessing sharp, sensual, and powerful allure. Yet, behind that glamour lay painful experiences with plastic surgery. In 2001, during breast reconstruction to remove a benign tumor, Sharon was shocked to discover that the doctor had secretly augmented her breast to a larger size without her consent. This was a serious violation and left a lasting psychological scar. The tragedy didn't stop there. After a stroke and severe brain hemorrhage also in 2001, Sharon was forced to inject over 300 Botox and fillers to restore facial symmetry, transforming plastic surgery from a lovely luxury into a painful medical necessity. She also tried lip injections, but the result was disastrous, with her lips becoming too large, leading her to compare herself to a herring. These unwanted transformations altered her body against her initial will. From these bitter experiences, Sharon abandoned aesthetic procedures to embrace natural beauty. At 67, she remains radiant, confident, and full of energy, unafraid to share valuable lessons from her experience. She resolutely chose to accept natural aging, refusing facelift offers from doctors. Sharon's story is a powerful testament that true beauty comes not only from appearance but also from confidence, wisdom, and the ability to overcome life's challenges, a beauty emanating from her resilient inner self. Tara Reid, the breakout star of the hit comedy American Pie, was once loved for her natural beauty, radiant face, and balanced, vibrant physique. She was a role model for young Hollywood in the early 2000s, attracting all eyes with her freshness and purity. However, a decision to get breast augmentation and liposuction in 2004 turned her beauty journey into a public disaster. The surgery results left her breasts deformed with uneven nipples, while her abdomen developed many ripples and a small hernia, making her look as if she had just been through a fierce battle. An attempt at correction in 2006 with a donut mastopexy improved things somewhat but could not restore her original natural beauty. Her face also began to show signs of Botox and fillers, losing its inherent softness. This surgical disaster was publicly exposed, her images widely circulated and mercilessly mocked. Tara's once brilliant career was severely tarnished, and she faced constant pressure from the public and media, who relentlessly criticized and scrutinized every minor flaw. However, at 49, Tara Reid remains resilient, continuing her career, openly sharing the pain caused by plastic surgery, admitting that she learned to love herself at a great cost. Though she no longer possesses her former natural beauty, Tara still appears confidently with a radiant smile and bold fashion style. Her story is a vivid proof of Hollywood's harsh reality, where the pressure to conform to beauty standards can drive stars to risky decisions, but also an affirmation of the ability to rise and find one's own self-worth. Michaela Romanini was once a glamorous Italian socialite, known for her stunning beauty and sometimes compared to Paris Hilton for her lavish lifestyle and attractive appearance. However, her pursuit of beauty quickly turned into a horrifying obsession. Initially, Michaela only had lip collagen and Botox injections, common procedures for enhancement. But then, her obsession deepened, trapping her in an inescapable spiral. Her naturally full lips became unnaturally exaggerated and abnormally large, and many other surgeries horribly disfigured her facial features. Her face looked artificial and older than her true age, completely unrecognizable compared to Donatella Versace, another icon of excessive plastic surgery. The result was a growing obsession, filled with regret. Michaela struggled with deep emotional scars every time she tried to face herself in the mirror. She clung to old photos of herself when she was younger and more natural, always yearning to turn back time. Reports suggest she is planning a series of other surgeries to turn back time, raising the question of whether she will ever truly be satisfied with herself. Michaela Romanini is a clear and painful cautionary example of plastic surgery abuse, a story that proves how beauty can turn into a tragedy when obsession exceeds limits. Caitlyn Jenner was once Bruce Jenner, a legendary athlete who won the 1976 Olympic gold medal, a symbol of masculinity, with a muscular physique and a strong, captivating appearance. Bruce's illustrious sports career made his name known globally. But deep inside, Bruce always craved to live authentically. The journey of self-discovery led Caitlyn to a series of plastic surgeries, beginning in the 1980s with her first nose job and facelift. This culminated in a courageous gender transition and numerous facial feminization surgeries. A 10-hour surgery in 2015 included a brow lift, jaw reshaping, nose and cheek recontouring, along with implants. However, these extensive interventions also left clear marks. Caitlyn's skin, especially around her eyes and forehead, became taut, stretched, and unnaturally stiff. Her face changed excessively, becoming a constant subject of media discussion and scrutiny. Despite facing a wave of criticism and scrutiny, Caitlyn Jenner remained resilient. She continued with surgeries to correct and maintain her image, appearing at major events and becoming a strong voice advocating for the LGBTQ+ community. Notably, Caitlyn has no regrets about her decisions, seeing surgery as an essential part of aligning her appearance with her true identity, a journey to inner peace. Her story not only reminds us of the risks of plastic surgery when people pursue perfection under public pressure, but also proves that inner strength can overcome all challenges, even when it means redefining an entire life. Renee Zellweger, the Oscar-winning star famous for her roles in Bridget Jones's Diary in Chicago, was beloved for her full-figured beauty, sparkling eyes, and charming smile. She was admired for her natural, approachable look, especially her round face and playful gaze, which perfectly suited her character, Bridget Jones. However, at an Elle magazine event in 2014, Renee appeared with a remarkably different face: larger eyes, higher eyebrows, and unusually smooth skin. This sparked rumors of cosmetic surgery, including eyelid lifts, Botox, and fillers. Before and after photos shocked fans, with many commenting that she no longer looked like Renee and had lost the distinctive features that once made her charming. Although Renee denied surgery, she admitted in a 2016 Huffington Post article that the criticisms had hurt her. Currently at 56, Renee Zellweger continues to shine in her projects and is praised for her acting talent. She has shifted her focus to self-acceptance, prioritizing health and a balanced lifestyle over pursuing cosmetic procedures. Renee's story is a valuable lesson about the pressure of beauty in Hollywood, as well as a testament to the power of self-confidence and talent, which helped her overcome challenges and remain a beloved icon. Simon Cowell, the television mogul famous for his sharp critiques on American Idol and Britain's Got Talent, was once known for his masculine appearance, sharp features, and confident demeanor. In the 1980s and 1990s, Simon boasted a natural charm with flawless skin, bushy eyebrows, and a distinctive smile. However, from the late 2000s, he began to transform his appearance with cosmetic procedures like Botox, fillers, and notably, a $2,000 silhouette soft lift facelift in 2018. Before and after photos reveal his face becoming taut, cheeks fuller, and eyebrows raised. Many fans remarked that he looked like a different person and had lost his distinctive features. Some comments even dubbed him the AI version of Simon Cowell, or a wax figure. Simon admitted to The Sun in 2022 that he went too far with Botox and fillers, to the extent that his son Eric laughed incessantly because he didn't recognize his father. One Botox injection even made Simon look like something out of a horror film. Cosmetic experts also criticized the quality of Simon's procedures, stating that excessive filler injections created a pillow face effect. His story serves as a testament to the pressure of maintaining a perfect appearance in the entertainment industry, while also being a cautionary tale that cosmetic surgery, if not carefully controlled, can erase the very unique features that define a star's brand. Amanda Lepore is a prominent cultural icon, model, singer, and famous socialite in the United States. She began her career as a model and underground fashion icon in New York, known for her collaborations with photographer David LaChapelle. Amanda began her gender transition very early and did not hesitate to use plastic surgery to achieve a perfectly feminine appearance. She underwent hormone replacement therapy from her teenage years, multiple nose jobs for a slender nose, breast augmentation for seductive cleavage, and buttock augmentation for an hourglass figure. Amanda is famous for transforming her body to resemble a living doll, including waist liposuction to achieve the smallest possible waist, and many experts believe she may have had ribs removed. Although Amanda received much praise for her courage and confidence, her surgical journey also sparked much debate about the extremism and pressure for perfection in society. However, Amanda remains proud of her choices and has become an irreplaceable icon, affirming that plastic surgery is not just about beauty, but also a way for her to express herself, affirm her identity, and overcome social barriers, inspiring many in the LGBTQ+ community. Donatella Versace, one of the leading creators of the Versace brand, was once praised for her elegance, regality, and aristocratic demeanor. She was an icon of class and sophistication in the global fashion industry. However, after the tragic death of her brother Gianni Versace in 1997, Donatella took over the company, and along with her new role, her personal transformation from the 2000s also sparked fierce debate. Initially just a subtle nose job, it quickly escalated into multiple procedures including facelifts, eyelid surgery, and the extensive use of Botox and dermal fillers. Donatella's once youthful and smooth skin became waxy, her lips unnaturally full, cheeks overly sculpted, and eyes larger, tauter, and unnaturally big. Critics quickly noted the increasing artificiality of her facial features, comparing it to the difficulties her brother had faced with aesthetic procedures. Donatella's plastic surgeries were frequently mentioned in articles and public discussions, sometimes criticized for making her look markedly different from before. Nevertheless, Donatella remains confident with her appearance and unafraid to express her bold fashion style, becoming a powerful icon of strength and strong personality in the fashion industry. Despite all the gossip, her story shows the complexity of seeking perfection in a world full of pressure. Lil Kim is a true pioneer in the world of hip-hop, famous for her big hits and unique, bold, and groundbreaking performance style. She is a fashion and music icon, always pushing boundaries. However, Lil Kim's beauty journey led her through multiple procedures, including several nose jobs and breast augmentations, all aimed at conforming to the narrow beauty standards often imposed by society. Unfortunately, these procedures caused more harm than good. Her face changed significantly, with an unnaturally thin nose and a swollen appearance, which many critics argued stripped her of her original natural beauty. She became unrecognizable to many old fans. These changes caused a backlash from fans and the media. Lil Kim admitted feeling insecure about her appearance and struggling with media-imposed beauty ideals. Her pursuit of perfection through plastic surgery led many to believe she might suffer from body dysmorphia, a serious psychological condition. Despite immense criticism, Lil Kim claims no regrets about her choices. Her plastic surgery journey is a cautionary tale about the dangerous obsession with altering natural features in search of an ideal that may never truly be achieved, and how it can lead to a loss of self. Although Ozzy Osbourne has passed away forever, what he leaves behind is not only legendary music, but also a deep and humane insight into love, sacrifice, and the right to control one's own destiny. The reality of an icon's death, but also touches upon unresolved questions about the cost of devotion and the fragile line between love and burden. Do any of us have the courage to make choices like Sharon? How many more secrets remain untold in the final chapter of Ozzy's life? Leave your comments below, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future stories. And if you want to continue exploring untold truths, don't forget to watch the related video right after this.